Hey, this is Diver Dave, and this is another adventure with Wheel Job Diving. What it is Lee Dragna bought this rig when it was tipped over in the Sherrington Canal, and he called me over to go check it out and see what we had down there. As you can see, that's the angle that the barge was laying at when he found it, and he went ahead and rigged up to it, got things set up. That area right there that you're looking at in the water, he had me dive down there to make sure nothing would puncture a hole in the rig when we flipped it back over. And he went and took a lot of time to dig out and put pilings down deep in the ground there, make concrete slabs for these winches and pulleys, and then they hooked onto that bad boy and they just started pulling it up. They used some of my lift bags and they used the cranes and they hooked on the stuff on it, and it was under huge tension. As you can see, there was so much tension it started stretching some of these shackles. Yeah, and there's some of my lift bags right there. As you see, the hoses go up to the surface. That's what we filled them up with. And now we're starting to make some progress here. Now you can see right there next to the water, that's level 1, 2, and then up there with the grill, that's number 3. What you're looking at here is from the bayou. This is where the rig was laid out towards us. And we even had some special guests drop in from time to time. There's Parish President Paul Knockan, who's having some interesting conversations with Lee Dragna, the owner and operator of LAD Services, the one that contracted me to come over here and do all that work. And of course, a job like this, you got to take things slow and easy, and that's Lee talking to his winch operators on the bank there, and they're slowly coming up a little bit, seeing how it sets, slowly coming up. And we ended up having an unexpected guest. Everybody else thought it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't too crazy diving with him. Fortunately enough for me, he wasn't real big and he didn't bother me, but he was there, and I'm sure some of his family members were hanging out also. And during times of re-rigging and moving things around or moving pumps or changing things up, there was a little bit of downtime, and some of the guys took advantage of that. As you can see, he pulled in a lunker there. And those guys did a lot of cutting and modifying to this rig to be able to get these pumps into place. Here's just one section that we're going to be putting the pump up high and lowering the hose. That's the suction hose there. That's a big monster pump. We're looking at a 12-inch pump right there. I don't know what the GPM was on it, but it's phenomenal. And there's nothing light about any of this salvage equipment we got. I mean, he pulled in some big equipment. As you can see there, what's that? 6 guys to carry that pipe. And that's just one section. One thing I learned about Lee though, he is not a sit back and point and yell at people. He gets in there, he gets his hands dirty, and he works right alongside of those guys oftentimes. Even with this big massive pump that we had and all the other ones that we had going on, the rig was just way too heavy still to lift. So Lee went and took about another 10 days and they started cutting off the 3rd deck. And of course there's Slim's boat with CNR Contractors. He helped out for a while. He was there most of the job as far as I remember. Now we're setting up, these are some of the templates that we're putting down for the salvage hatch covers. I had to go underwater, burn holes in the deck, and then they made those plates. And I put the hoses inside them and sealed them up so that they take suction. Hey, Lee, look over here. Man, let me tell you how slippery it was. Oh, that deck is all mud. You know, it's just so slippery. And let me tell you, there's nothing quiet about a salvage job. It was noisy all the time. I'm sparing you by putting nice music in and a little talking through here. But here, let me show you what it sounds like on a regular, average day. These shoes aren't made for walking. So what we're doing now is we're cutting into the deck so we can get down inside these tanks and see where all the water's coming from. And there's a hole from one compartment into the other through the bulkhead. So yeah, we had a lot of water coming in. And as I said before, Parish President Paul Nakan kept making a couple visits here and there. Now some of the bigger holes that I had put temporary patches on are just above the waterline, and we don't want to take any chances of that thing coming undone when they're towing it to the ship scrapyard. So they had me get in the water and weld some patches on right there at the water surface. So now apparently the rig seems to be sitting on bottom, so we're going to give it a little bit of a gentle nudge with this backhoe, which doesn't seem to work so well. So we go ahead and switch over to tried and true method of pulling it with a boat. loosening up the last of the slings. And believe it or not, that thing is floating on its own. See along the sides here where I ended up putting a bunch of patches on the side to stop the leaking in there. See you next time.